Welcome to Veterans United, a program sponsored by the Firewatch, Northeast Florida's fight to end veteran suicide. I'm Nick Howland, Navy veteran, your host, and Executive Director of the Firewatch. In this program, you'll meet 2 or 3 veterans who will share their challenges and experiences since leaving active duty. You'll also meet a couple civilians who are doing great things for veterans here in Northeast Florida. In the meantime, you can help. There's a role for everybody. Visit thefirewatch.org and register as a watchstander. Learn to identify the risk signs of veterans in crisis. Learn to get veterans the help they need. Together, we can end veteran suicide here in Northeast Florida. Enjoy the program.
From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, time once again for The Horse's Mouth here on Buzz TV, of course, at Tommy Mac's Place, where we're talking business and we're also honoring our military. It's a veteran-themed show brought to you by thefirewatch.org, a veteran suicide prevention program here on The Horse's Mouth. We're talking real estate to a certain degree with our good friend Wally Conway. What's up, Wall?
Pleasure.
How you doing, my man?
Marvelous.
Good to see you again.
Cheers to
You
you.
brought some friends with you, a little Army, a little Navy, a little helicopter pilot. You guys got all something in common, don't you?
Top notch.
Absolutely.
Top-notch people.
Who do we have? My man Bruce. How are you, Bruce?
Good.
Good
Doing
to
great.
see you.
You as well.
Bruce Hamer from Koala Installation.
Yep.
Commercial, residential, a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Okay. How long you been doing that for?
Well, a whole month.
Really?
Yeah.
A new venture?
Yeah, so we just started this
All
up,
right.
decided to open a business in the middle of a pandemic. You know, what the hell?
kidding. Man, you got
So-
balls here, Bruce. I like it.
Yeah.
I
So,
like it. Hey, no risk, no reward, right? You got to go for it sometimes.
Well, it was the only thing going on in the neighborhood. I mean, everywhere I looked, there was a trailer here, a trailer there, doing bricks, doing pavers, I'm like, you know what? These guys are staying busy while I'm sitting my butt at home.
Yeah.
You know what? This is something I might want to get into. So
Okay. Did you have background in the installation game, or how'd you figure that out?
Absolutely not. I spent my last, you said I'm Army military. I was a medic in the military.
Right.
So kind of came out of that and, I figured, hey, I'll stay in the medical field. So I actually was a paramedic for a while in New Orleans. That's where this accent comes
Okay,
from.
yep.
I wonder where this guy's from. But I got working with a wound care company, and I stayed with them for 21 years. Moved up the ladder. Actually, I moved here to Jacksonville about 5 years ago to take an executive role there.
Okay.
And, troubles, came about. We started having a, downsize a little bit. I got laid off.
Okay.
And so I thought, you know what? What else can I do? I actually went back to school and got a bachelor's degree
All
while I was
right,
in my
man.
spare time.
Nice.
And I'm like, this business thing is something I think I could just do on my own. So my wife and I pulled the trigger.
Yep.
Did a whole lot of homework to start with,
Good for
but found Koala Insulation. They got a great system. It's a franchise
Okay.
out of Melbourne, Florida.
Okay.
Scott Mars, the owner down there, he's been fantastic. Support has been great. I call it, like starting a business with training wheels.
Yeah.
Help us out when we need it.
Right.
But for the most part, it's been a whirlwind, and we
Good.
just started doing business really started January,
Okay.
and we've been busy.
That's great, man.
All good.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
brother. You know
Cheers.
what? That's a badass story, and I'm thankful you shared that on this show. Mario Gonzalez is here from Navy to Navy Homes. Hey, Mario.
Tom, thanks
How
for
you
having
doing, man?
Doing good.
How long were you in the Navy for?
Oh, a little 24 years.
24?
Just a minute.
Right out of high school or
Right out of
college
high
or
school,
what?
17 when I signed the paper.
No kidding. Were you still in high school or did you graduate already?
I was still in high school when I signed the first paper, and then right after that, didn't
Wow.
get a summer break, went right in the Navy.
And you're a helicopter pilot, right? Or a pilot?
I am. Yep.
Okay.
Started off enlisted and then worked my way up. I went to school, the same school as this guy over here, and then and ended up
In
flying.
Annapolis?
That's it.
Yep, been there a couple times. Boston College played Army and Navy every year.
How'd it go?
No kidding.
Yeah, we normally won, but they were tough because they ran the wishbone, both teams, and they would cut block. I mean, your knees would just be, it drove you nuts, and they were really good at it. They could get right up on you, and then they dive at your ankles, and you go, bink.
All those guys went submarines after they graduated.
That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
That's right. Well, how about how long you been with Navy to Navy?
So we formed Navy to Navy in 2009, but I've been slinging real estate in one way, shape, or form since about 1998.
Okay.
Every time the military moved me around, probably the best advice was ever given to me was like, buy a home as soon as you can, kid.
Yep.
And the Navy gives you a little bit of stipend, so we just took that and started paying a mortgage with it instead.
Okay. Good.
And then after we left, we'd let someone else pay the mortgage. We just rent the home and let them do it. And, just process, repeat.
Okay.
So
is that your company?
it is. So
All right,
we
man.
just sharing the story out there in the lobby. We're basically formed out of necessity when the real estate market burst here a while back.
Sure.
I had a couple of property management homes that I was just kind of taking care of, and then military folks were upside down overnight.
Yep.
When the bubble burst, so they were just coming to me saying, "Hey, can you take care of my home too?" So we did that.
Great.
And just started managing homes, and now we manage about 400 homes. We sell about 300 a year. But
Okay.
But the big thing is we just give back to military and everything that we do.
Are you just here in Jacksonville, or are you at other military towns?
Just
as well?
opened in Pensacola last year,
Cool.
so in the middle of the pandemic, so I can empathize with you there, Bruce.
Yep.
So,
A little expansion.
yeah, trying.
Good.
So.
Good. How about the transition for you guys from the military to the real world? Let's call it. How hard
For
was
me,
it?
I was fortunate. So after a short stint active, I went in the reserves. So you kind of
Okay,
had a
right.
reserve transition. So I still kind of had a job, doing some things with the reserves as I was working on. I came out with some skills as a paramedic.
Yep.
So I was able to get a civilian job pretty quickly.
Okay.
And I think my leadership, training and knowledge and experience really helped me, progress quickly through the ranks of wherever we landed. So
Yep.
we were able to move along. So my transition was pretty seamless, really.
Okay.
So I did okay.
How about you, Mario?
Yeah, I think because I started in real estate before I came out of the military, it really helped me.
Okay.
So once I just kind of started, call it dabbling in real estate, when I bought my first house, then I had to manage it when the Navy moved me the first time. So I learned that piece kind of out of necessity. So I wasn't a stranger. And what really kind of charged my batteries back then and what charges it now is helping other people. So if I can help other people, everybody needs a house, whether you're renting or, buying. So helping really, that's what gets me out of bed every morning.
Yeah, and that's fantastic because I was just going to say, and while you could speak on this too, I know and it sounds so, it doesn't compare to the military, but coming out of the NFL, you had purpose, and I think it's hard to find that purpose in the real world, especially coming from the military. Like you had a purpose in the military, you had a job, you knew what to do, every day this is what I did. You had pride in it, you had some patriotism, you had all that in it. And then, then what? I know a lot of former football players or athletes like, well, what am I now? What am I? I'm not a professional ball player anymore. What am I now? I think finding that purpose can be challenging.
Well, I think most people coming out of the military are good at two things, and that's taking action and leadership. No matter how long you were in or what rank you got to, somewhere along the way, you were in charge of at least one other person, if not 1,000 other people. So you're accustomed to being in charge, and you're accustomed to not sitting stationary. So when COVID comes or this problem comes or whatever comes, you're like, whoop, there's another problem. Let's create a solution and move it forward.
Yeah.
And I think with your background, football players,
Solution guys.
pretty well the same way. They're accustomed to preparing, taking action, and being leaders.
Well, look, we know from our past lives, you have victories and you have losses, right?
Sure.
Losses, you gotta figure out.
Yeah.
You gotta bounce back somehow, right? You just told your story. You figured it out, right?
Sure.
Now you're on this path. I mean, that's very commendable. A lot of people don't figure it out, for whatever reason. But you do.
A lot of
Because you
veterans,
have to.
Tom, a lot of veterans didn't quite make that transition so well, much like some football players that
Right.
didn't play out so well in the
Right.
transition.
Right.
Same with veterans, which is why you and I both so passionate about Firewatch.
Yeah, no doubt. We all have friends that could use a resource like that, right?
Sure.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
Phone
sure.
call away, hey, go talk. Everyone needs to talk. I talk to God. It's just me one-on-one with God, and we get a lot done. But some people, you need someone to talk to, and not just the Firewatch, a lot of resources here in town that help veterans.
Yeah, I really like how that's organized. Wally kind of pointed me towards the, being a watchstander.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and did that. But,
Good.
As a veteran, when you talk to other veterans, you're kind of doing a little bit of that already, having those conversations, hearing where they are in life.
Yeah.
And, some of them aren't where they want to be or need to be. And, And veterans to veterans. I mean, we could talk to each other all day long.
Right.
It's those stories, those experiences that not everybody gets to experience. But having that, watch stander, be able to, hear that stress that might be going on in that person's life, and then you can relate to them and you can talk to them and listen to what they got going on, and hopefully point them in the right direction or help them out. I mean, I thought, that was, when you pointed me that way, I was like, oh, this makes all the sense in the world, and so I joined it. My ops manager, he's 20-year Navy guy. He's joined it as well. So we're spreading the word as we can.
That's great. I mean, look, it's good to give back. You do it in business and you do it, with whatever else, right? That's what, at the end of the day, what'd you do? Who'd you help?
Exactly.
That's a fan. It's okay that you made a bunch of money or little money or whatever along the way, but who did you impact?
Exactly.
Who did you help, right? That's very, very important. I mean, we try to live that every day. How do you guys, let's start with you. How do you feel about the real estate industry as a whole? Here in Jacksonville, I mean, strong for years to come. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, being especially military, being around 3 bases essentially, there's always a need for housing. So even as the real estate market is, it's cyclical. It always will be.
Right.
But it's always going to be strong on one way, shape or form. Right now, with the interest rate so low, people are buying like crazy, and they'll be able to turn those into rentals very easily.
How about so like a company like yours and others out there, right? So when they say there's no inventory. We've heard that on this show, right? But how much of that is from companies buying these homes and then renting them out under their property management? Is it a lot? Is it a little?
We're talking like the hedge fund type thing?
No, like you got Dream Finders, you've got Corner Lot, you've got JWB, they're buying homes, they're renting them out. Like how much is that taking of the market? I wonder.
That's an honest question. I think it's probably 3 to 5%.
Right.
Okay.
It's probably more than we would expect, but probably not the significant. I mean, we're down a third of the inventory that we had just last year or the year before. So it's not that.
I always push back on that one, Mario. It's not that the inventory's down, it's flying off of the shelves. We set records again last year on numbers of homes sold.
Right.
And we also set records on days on market as well as built. So they're flying off the shelf. And the answer to that is make a rapid decision.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, you kind of have to now. I mean, if you want to be in this area and you got to make a move, you better put that money down. Make the decision. Leadership.
There you go.
Right?
But it goes back to the real estate agent. If you have a timid real estate agent, there's a fair chance you're not getting a house.
Not going to get it.
Right. That's right.
And a lot of military folks, I mean, we see it all the time. They don't even see the house. In today's market, they may not even see the house. I talked to somebody yesterday and I said, look, you've got to have your paperwork in hand ready to go. And you may make that decision, sight unseen, because when that home comes in the market in your price point, under $300,000 for the most of them, it's not going to last. If it's priced properly.
Yeah, especially people coming to Florida.
Heck, I just moved here 5 years ago, and I did not see my home until after I made an offer on it. I mean, my real estate agent called me. I'm in the airport in Tennessee. I'm like, I'll be in Jacksonville in next week. I'll come take a look. And she said, no, it's not going to be here next week. I'm like, well, should I underbid on it? No. You're going to tell them, you're going to give them what they're asking, or you're not going to have this house. So
Right.
All right, do it.
Yeah. Hey, man. Sometimes you got to make those calls, right?
Month of December, 19% of all homes sold for over asking price.
Oh, wow.
Exactly right.
So the idea of I'm gonna lowball Tom and get that place.
No, forget about it.
Different times.
That's right. All right, gentlemen. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Tom, thanks.
Cheers. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thanks for your service.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that big time. Of course, we're big proponents of the firewatch.org. Check them out online. Become a watch stander and help someone in need, as we always try to do here on the Horse's Mouth from Buzz TV Studios and at Tommy Max. Until next time, have a good one. Cheers.
Hello, I'm John Rutherford from the United States House of Representatives, and I am a watch stander.
Hi, I'm Michelle McManaman from Operation Uniform, and I am a watch stander, and so is everyone in my organization.
I'm D'Amica Jackson. I'm the president of the Jacksonville Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and I am a watch stander.
Hi, I'm Luke Lewis with Xera Realty.
I am Ant Stroud with the Ant Stroud Group.
I'm Bruce Thompson. I'm the Vice President of the Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
And I am a watch stander.
I am a watch stander. I'm a watch stander.
Each year, over 6,000 U.S. military veterans take their own lives, including one per week in Northeast Florida. The Firewatch is our community's fight to end veteran suicide. Join us. Become a watchstander today at thefirewatch.org. Together, we will end veteran suicide.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 5-Minute Salute. We're really special treat today. We have Buddy Harris, who's been working almost full-time on the POW MIA Center over at Cecil Field. Buddy, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining us today. So, Buddy, what's going on? What have you been doing over there at Cecil Field?
Well, obviously with the COVID stuff, things got slowed down a little bit, but I think we're starting to get back on the right track, and we're getting ready for our 30th anniversary of Desert Storm, which is going down on the 27th of February, this next Saturday, and we're excited about that. Going to show the first aircraft that we're displaying, which is part of Phase 1. It's going to be an A7 that I was in charge with, and going to get it's painted. It's going to be its gorgeous VA 174 paint job, original of the very first year the 174 was out there, that Walt Disney actually made the design for. That was their logo, and he actually created. They're called the Hellraisers, and he called them that also because he couldn't hang with them when he came up from Orlando to party. But we're going to have that. But also, and just as importantly, actually more importantly, we're going to have the Gold Star Memorial exhibit's going to be there. It's been the first time it's going to be the unfolding of the Great Gold Star Memorial for the Gold Star families, and so that's going to be part of the POW MIA Museum.
Well, let's unpack that. So let's just start with the 30th anniversary. Okay. What are some of the events around it, and where would people go to get more information?
There you go. If you go to the POWMIAmemorial.org, at the beginning, and there you can sign up and you see the invitations, and there's the only thing financially, you can actually go for free to see the exhibit and to see hear the speeches, and there's going to be a barbecue there, and you have to sign up for the food there. It's a $10 donation, which it'd be nice it's also, we're trying to raise money for the memorial, so it would be helpful for that too. But if you go to that website, that will tell you everything about the time and what the events that are going on that day.
How long will the events go on that day?
Not long. So we're starting around 10:30 in the morning, and it'll probably wrap it up. I think the food starts around 2 o'clock, and then it's as long as people linger after that. The speeches inside the chapel, there's going to be an event, which will be space limited because of COVID. And then outdoors, where obviously we have the face mask regulations and spacing and all, but outdoors, there's going to be an event there, and that's right by the memorial for the Gold Star families. And so that will all be done by 12:30 at the latest, and then the food gathering, and as long as people linger. And I think there'll be some other exhibits there down that day so people can look at and see.
Will people have any problem getting on the base or anything?
No, there's no base there now. It's a public Cecil Field Airport, so there is no guard, there's no gate, there's plenty of parking around there. It's wide open. It's one of the reasons why we have the POWMIA Memorial Museum built there, because of the wide open space. You have plenty of parking, and there'll be signs to direct you where to park. Should not be a complication at all.
Awesome. That sounds like a great event, and an amazing 30 years has passed, and all the things that have happened in between. It's great for you all to memorialize that and to recognize that. Let's talk about the second aspect of that, the Gold Star aspect of it. What can you tell our viewers about that?
Well, Gold Star families, I think it's just finally getting, just like honoring the POWs and the MIAs, it's just now coming to bear that we need to honor these families who have given the ultimate sacrifice. They have loved ones. And so we have folks that have donated this, and it's just going to be a memorial site there. It's going to be it's a special place for dedicated to the Gold Star families, and it's just another place for people to remember and to honor those that have given the ultimate sacrifice.
Now, how long have you been working with this project?
It's been almost 3 years now that I've been working with the POWMIAs.
Okay, but you had your own Navy career, correct?
Yes, I did.
So how did you get your Navy commission?
I was AVROC, and went to flight training in Pensacola, and came out flying A7s, and ended up flying A7s for the most part of my career. Because I was CAG also, I got to do some time in a Tomcat, and I flew some F8, and got a few hops in the F8 team before I got done.
That's great. Now, for our viewers or listeners, what is AVROC?
Aviation Recruit Officer Candidate School. It's a program that doesn't exist anymore. That was just allowed people to go to split up the OCS. The 16 weeks of OCS is split it up to a summer before your junior, senior year of college, and then if you choose to come back after college, you could come back. But apparently, too many people did not choose, and so it's a little too expensive for people to do. So they ended up getting rid of it.
Very good. And you graduated from the second best university in Tennessee?
University of Tennessee, Knoxville, yeah. That is true.
Talking from a Vanderbilt guy. But and so how did it start for you? You went to Pensacola, you got your wings. You were obviously, I guess you were assigned to the A7.
Right.
And then where'd you go from Pensacola?
Jacksonville, Florida. And,
okay.
Well, actually, Pensacola, Meridian, Mississippi, and that's where I got the wings up in Meridian Jet School, and then ended up in Jacksonville. It's my first choice is A7's Jacksonville, and just kind of started.
And so you were stationed at Cecil Field.
Stationed at Cecil Field.
Very good. And then if you just take us through your career a little bit as you move forward in time.
Well, Navy-wise, I did my time, and then I went into the reserves, started working with the reserves in 203 at Cecil Field initially, and then I worked at the Pentagon. And at the Pentagon, I ended up doing various jobs, but became very much involved in the POW MIA organization and actually working more with the MIAs. And then when Desert Storm came about and we lost some guys, and we had some missing at the time, my office was in charge of dealing with that. And because of that, and when Lieutenant Commander Scott Spiker at the time went down, that became my focal point, my focal case on him. And then getting him repatriated was pretty much a passion of mine from then on. And in doing so, though, I became very involved and became, I got in touch with a lot of the MIA families, people that were in the same boat as me, although it wasn't as recent. Yeah. Well, it certainly wasn't as personal. Well, it was because they're all, their family, they're family members. But the fact was that they're dealing with people from Vietnam, from previous wars, all the way back to Korea. And so I got to interact with these families, and I realized what was truly missing in their lives, and that they were separate from everybody, and how much we needed to do to help out these families. And so, yes, I was working with the Scott Spiker situation, and once we brought him back in 2009, I realized we need to keep, there's still something missing, and so I became involved with the MIAs, which evolved into the POW MIAs, and that's why we're building this much needed museum, and I truly feel it's an essential monument, military monument that's missing in all the tributes that we have to the fine men and women of the armed forces, and it's I think it's essential that we do this.
Well, so we, it originally started as a local thing, but now it's the national POW MIA. Can you tell some of our viewers how many POW MIAs are there? And how big was the problem when you were living it every day when you were on active duty as a reservist? But can you give us some scope of that?
Well, sure. There's 140,000 POWs that we're dealing with, and of that, and then we have over 92,000 MIAs, of which we still have over 82,000 that are still missing in action today that we're still working on. And there was just a void for a long time. We had DPMO was an organization was involved in bringing back these MIAs, and it was just it was very problematic back in my days when I was working with Scott Spiker, and we realized it was problematic, and that's why we went a different route with him, because we were able to, because of the popularity and the fact that we had a lot of politicians involved, and it was very, very helpful to us. So we went back to that, and after we got Scott resolved, we got like, hey, we need to fix this too, and so it changed to, and now it's DPAA, and it went from a bureaucratic organization that did everything they could to pass the buck and not bring our guys home, to now it's an organization that I think we have young blood in there, we have military, not bureaucrats, and they are doing everything they can to bring everybody home. And I think it's fantastic. It's very, very helpful. And as much as people say, okay, that we have 82,000 still missing, that they technically we can probably bring back another 30,000, because certain people lost at sea and stuff they think are going to be unfindable. But I think that's using today's technology. I think 20 years ago, they wouldn't have thought they would have found the people that we did. I think the way technology is moving, there's no reason that we can't have at least the goal of bringing everybody home. And that's what I think the DPAA is about, and we're bringing them home significantly. In the last 10 years, we've brought back more people than we did in the last 30 years, by far.
Well, we're lucky that you've really dedicated your life to doing that right now, and those families can be made whole somewhat It's amazing what you're doing, and I'm grateful for it, and I'm sure the veterans in North Florida are grateful for what you're doing. How can they help you?
Well, as much as I'd like to take credit for it, a lot of it's I joined this organization because of the other guys that are working on it. We have, Michael Casado really kind of started this program, executive director, and he's just been phenomenal at spearheading this whole thing. We got Sam Houston at head of the board, and you guys, who was the last CEO of Cecil Field. We have some tremendous folks, Bob Buell and others that were military guys that were just on board with this, and so it was very easy for me to make the decision to jump on board. But right now we're phase one. Like I said, we're going to get the plane out there. We're going to get that on. I think once we're looking at getting 4 aircraft. We're going to have an A7, A4, and S3, and then an F-18, of which we've just got a hold of an F-18. We've got to get that painted and cleaned up, and we'd like to put that out there. But if you go to www.powmiamemorial.org, it will show. Right now we've got a tremendous bricklaying program where people can honor. You can actually put what your loved one flew, and you can make a little notation. They can be small, they can be large, and that's actually doing very, very well. And all around where the aircraft are going to be displayed is we've got this brick walkway, of which we're selling those. But any donation would be helpful. But we're hoping that after this 30th anniversary on February 27th, it'll get a lot more impetus in. We start getting the planes out there, the buildings starting to get built, and I think we're going to start bringing people in because we really think this can be a destination, a tourist destination. Not only that, but an educational destination, because it's just a place, it's a vital place where we need these MIA families, these former POWs, to be able to come and commiserate with their own folks and just be able to share their own stories and be with others that are in the same position as they are.
Awesome. Well, buddy, it's great to meet the greatest graduate of UT. Thank you for what you do every day, and we're grateful. And for the rest of you, until we get back on again, keep watching out for each other.
Hello, I'm John Rutherford from the United States House of Representatives, and I am a watchstander.
Hi, I'm Michelle McManaman from Operation Uniform, and I am a watchstander, and so is everyone in my organization.
I'm D'Amica Jackson. I'm the president of the Jacksonville Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and I am a watchstander.
Hi, I'm Luke Lewis with Xera Realty.
I am Ant Stroud with the Ant Stroud Group.
I'm Bruce Thompson. I'm the Vice President of the Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
And I am a watchstander.
I am a watchstander. I'm a watchstander.
Each year, over 6,000 U.S. military veterans take their own lives, including 1 per week in Northeast Florida. The Fire Watch is our community's fight to end veteran suicide. Join us. Become a watchstander today at thefirewatch.org. Together, we will end veteran suicide. Thanks again for joining us on another episode of Veterans United. The Fire Watch is Northeast Florida's fight to end veteran suicide. There's a role for everybody. Join us as a watchstander. Visit thefirewatch.org and learn to identify the risk signs of veterans in crisis, how to ask veterans if they need help, and how to get veterans the help they need. Together, we will end veteran suicide. How to ask veterans if they need help, and how to get veterans the help. I screwed up again. Sorry.